The Pistons are the basketball champions of the world.
Detroit, it's time. It's playoff time, Detroit. Let's go to work.
Shout out Detroit. I got to buff up, you know what I'm saying? Detroit, I'm all the way in. Detroit Pistons, I'm all the way in. Let's do it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Buff Down Podcast. We are the best POD in the 313. It's here, folks. Training camp, media day. We're here to talk it all with you guys today. This is the last podcast that we will have in 2023 that is not coming after a Pistons game. So we struggled. We struggled through the summer. We've made it. We're recording this on a Friday night, so the Pistons play in less than 48 hours. I know you guys are excited. I got Vali and Coni with me. We're going to talk all things media day and training camp. So let's talk Pistons basketball. Coni, I know you got some things written down. So start us off. What is the one headline that you got coming out of media day and training camp?
Oh God, that's not how to organize this.
Oh, it's not? All right, the fire.
Can you your 1-1? What's your top thing? What drew your mind, your eye the most? Made you say, "Huh"?
I would say that I'm gonna come straight out the gate with the Heat. Killian Hayes has been terrific, and that Monty Williams has been watching him from afar. That's the first thing that kind of like grabbed my eyes. I mean, like there's other topics out there that we will get to that obviously I was like, oh, that's cool. But I think the fact that Killian Hayes has always intrigued Monty Williams, who he says he's liked big wings that can defend for a while, and he's had his eye on Killian Hayes from afar, and told him that if you just continue to come in and work hard, you'll be all right. So I'm happy to see that Killian Hayes is still on this team, and he's caught somebody's eye, and it's the coach. Go ahead.
I have a question. When did Killian Hayes turn from point guard to big wing?
Did he say? Did he say big wing?
I think he said big guard. I said
yeah.
big
I think
wing.
he just said
That's
big guard.
Okay.
He said big guard. That was my bad. I just came off a Cahill episode where he was talking about how Killian could be the backup three. That's where I got wing from.
I was thinking about it, and maybe I've been looking at Killian Hayes wrong this whole time. You know, am I seeing him as a result of who he is, or am I seeing him as a result of the situation that he's been placed in? He's obviously not a point guard, right? Like he doesn't have the processing speed, like the ability. He's shown he's not a point guard, like not an A1 point guard. Is he a wing? Like is Gabe said this a little bit last time, and now this making me think like, is he a guy that is going to be a connected, like an Ausar Thompson light, you know, a similar type guy that's going to fill in cracks? We really haven't seen that from him at all. He's always been a very ball dominant guy. He doesn't really have much of an off ball presence, especially because of his lack of a shot. But I thought he made some okay cuts off of Cade Cunningham when they played together. I think he can be a little bit more of an off ball guy, quick decisions guy. Like we said, if the 0.5 offense clicks for him, and he can use those like passing skills, undeniable passing skills in like some actual basketball, there could be a spot for him.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, maybe Killian Hayes as a shooter isn't it, but I mean there's plenty of other things that he can do to help the team out. Vali, your thoughts on Killian Hayes getting a little praise from his new head coach?
Yeah, and this might backfire on me right here, but Connie, you say he's not a point guard. Then what is he? You know?
That's what I'm trying to a ball moving wing.
Because he undeniably, you know, we've always said his number one trait is playmaking, and the other things aren't there. But I still can't classify him anything other than a guard.
But it's not playmaking. It's like specifically the skill is pass.
Yeah, because he doesn't attract defense. That's why it's not playmaking. Sure. But I do see what you say in like that wing role. Like I could see it like as an off ball guy, and then he'll just play defense.
He doesn't have the handle to be a point guard.
But I just can't give up on him being a point guard because that's what he is. He's been a point guard his whole life. He's not just going to say, "Hey, I'm not a point guard now."
A lot of guys have to change who they are to survive. A lot of guys are a lot of things. Got to be something else.
So yes, I was gonna give my two examples here. If you go like to Marcus Smart and more, actually let's go Lonzo Ball. Came in the league where his main thing was playmaking. He was known for having a good handle and really good playmaking ability. Lakers tried it, didn't really work. But we've seen Lonzo Ball when he's been able to play for Chicago have a fantastic role, and I would I would have called him the point guard in that setup, despite him not being like a heavy ball handler. And it's a similar thing I saw with Marcus Smart when he was next to those two great wings in Boston, where he is the point guard. If you identify the point guard in the roster, it's him, but he's not necessarily always the one like it's heavy ball handling. And I see a similar esque role. Like the ball's gonna be in his hands. He's gonna be a threat to make his passes, but it is gonna be more off ball if that makes any sense at all. Like it's the attraction of the other guys once he gets us in our set. But in terms of just being happy or like just getting some news about this man, like I swear to God, I was this close to getting off the Killian wave, and I got pulled right back in, man. Like a dangerous riptide. I'm all in on Killian again. Once Monty Williams spoke so highly of him.
Those guys
Gosh,
both shoot threes, by the
what's
way.
that?
Lonzo came on when he started hitting 3-pointers, and Marcus Smart.
Yeah, and the hope is, I mean, he makes a decent jump. I mean, he is coming off a career best season. Like you can rip on him as much as you want, but statistically had his best ever season, and we saw so
Really?
many flashes last
Worst
year.
shooter in the NBA? Best.
If you look at his statistics,
Look at his
10, 4, and 6
numbers.
was
Don't tell me box score watching.
10, 4, and 6, statistically his best ever season. He played in the most games, which I think is incredibly valuable, a big learning experience for him. But we just gotta hope he's putting in the work and he can get in that right mindset, and hopefully Monty can do that. And I think that's what he's trying to do. Get him in that right place mentally, to see him perform.
I'm just
Go ahead.
glad your hopes are getting back up against the It was getting a little too easy to shit on Killian in this podcast. It's not fun if nobody's fighting against you. So I'm glad.
But yeah, I think I heard a quote that said Killian said that he worked on shooting and stamina this offseason. It's a shame to say that he didn't say right hand at all, because I think that would also be important. But if he is better at shooting, then yeah, he does fit into this roster as a guy that's just off ball. Like you said, I did like how he played with Cade off the ball. I feel like Killian has the ability to be a good cutter. So it'll be fun to see how he plays in preseason. I wouldn't say I was off the Killian train. I would say that I think I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but I'm gonna ride or die with him. He's a guy. I don't want to say that I chickened out on this one. So if he's a flop, he's a flop. But if he works out, then I can say I was
You're
there.
locking in now.
I don't think I was locking it now. I think I was locked in a while ago, because I say every time we talk about Killian, but
But
I'm happy to see it getting praised.
Yeah, okay. I feel like both of you guys were sort of stepping off, but
I think that was just because I didn't want to be scolded, but at a certain point, like, somebody can dig up some audio of me like hyping up Killian Hayes. So like, I've been on pod saying that I'm a Killian supporter, so I'm not gonna jump off. I'm not gonna jump off. But yeah, that was my 1-1 headline. Coni, you got one you want to spit out, or I can fire another one off the top of my head.
I mean, like headlines, some things of note I saw from with some things that guys said. One I thought was interesting was how Stu is going to be used. Monty Williams was talking about it. He said he was shooting the 3-pointer a lot. When we talked about the 3-pointer, it's really required. He said he's really been putting the work in, and he can see it. But he also said that when Stu is being guarded by smaller, lighter, more athletic fours, they're going to try to attack a mismatch. Use advantage of like his strength and his size. Some really just like some classic 4-man play right there. But do we think he could do it? I mean, his touch. We talked about this exact thing last episode. Gabe was talking about it. The layups, the touch around the rim, it leaves something to be desired. It's an aspect of tossing it up there with Stu. Then again, he keeps aging. He's proven that his touch has improved from the 3-point line. The reason I think he can't also improve his touch down low, I think it's something that we'd see rarely, but like there are cases where teams are going to go small. They're going to switch with Stu to stay like to keep a guy with Cade, and then can he take that mismatch? Can he attack it? And then that would be huge, huge, huge for his game.
Yeah, I think the thing with Stu is he's always been undersized, and he knows it too. And he knows he's athletic, but he's not going to be able to jump over everybody. So I think a lot of that quick twitch, just throw it up there, is because he's like, I'm smaller, I'm going to get blocked, right? Now that he's going to be switched on to guys that he knows he's going to be stronger than, he knows he can overpower. I think he'll be able to take his time more, and that touch will improve. Valley, any thoughts on Stu being posted up a little bit more against smaller, agile players?
I like it in more of a sense that he's becoming more versatile. I believe Stu said himself that he feels more like a 4 now. You ask him when he was drafted, he says, "I'm a center," and he doesn't think twice about that. But we've seen him come such a long way from those rookie years when he just started taking a few elbow jumpers, slowly got out there. Now he's a full-time 4, and he's in that mindset, and Monty Williams knows it. However, in terms of just the efficiency of a play and a post up against a smaller guy, I'm I'm honestly not the biggest fan. Stu kind of, like you said, flings those shots up there and has a tendency to miss them a lot. Kind of rushes them. I think it could open up a pretty big avenue for him. Like if he does learn that, hey, I'm a 6'8", absolute tank, 6'9" tank. These guys aren't going to be able to compete with me in terms of just a physical battle. And maybe that'll, open up a bit of a finishing aspect for him, which could be pretty interesting, with all that focus on being on him shooting threes. Being a better finisher can be really important, especially for a guy like Stu who took a lot of those flip shots. But yeah,
Yep.
why not? In terms of it growing his game, I'm all for it.
And I guess while we're on the topics of fours, I guess another headline grabber was Monty Williams saying he's curious to see how Jalen Duren plays as a 4 when other teams do go big. How do you feel about that?
Do you mean the new Dirk Nowitzki? You guys see those shooting videos? I mean, we all saw them. I know you're not a huge fan of the form, Coni, but it's hard not to get a little bit excited seeing Duren shoot those threes. And I do get excited by the thought of him playing at the 4, but that excitement, it quickly goes away once I realize that means Bagley or Wiseman's going to be at the 5, But I would love to see it in certain situations. And Duren said himself today he thinks he can play point guard because he's feeling so good passing the ball, man.
Sasser said it.
If it makes a guy so comfortable, so confident, why not throw him at the 4,
Because his best is obviously the center, man. He's such a good roller, elite roller.
I mean, I don't think that means that he can't roll on offense. I think it's just more of a defensive-minded thing,
I just
I
think
think he'll still be.
it takes him away from his most impactful spots on the floor by putting another guy in those spots where he is
Yeah, the offensive rebounder.
he's an offensive rebounder, the primary roller, at least on the pick and roll with not another guy down there, a guy in the dunker spot where he's going to be a higher percentage than those guys. Like if you swap him out, like the most efficient, the best player to put in those spots is him. And I don't know the jumper,
So
the top of the jumper. Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. No, talk jumper, and then I'll throw
The,
my thing
the
up there.
top of the jumper looks all right. The bottom, he sways a little bit and gets out ahead of himself, but there's a disconnect there, and there's like a hitch in his upward motion, and it's slow, and I don't think that's going in game. Like I don't know. There was a Rico Hines shot that clunked like off the backboard, a jumper from mid range. I just I don't fully believe in it right now, and I don't think it's a part of the game that he should really be worrying that much about, at least right now. There's an avenue for him to be an all-star this season, like just playing the way that he plays with the passing and everything. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess like going back to what you were saying about him being a roller, kicking him out of the spot he's best at. You would be okay with Jalen Duren playing the 4 if it wasn't James Wiseman or Marvin Bagley being the 5.
Well, then, like, why would it be? Why would he be the 4?
I'm just saying, like, if you had another big that could be an offensive rebounder and you needed to go big against a team like, I don't know, Cleveland or Minnesota, right? You would be okay with him. I don't know who that guy is off the top of my head,
Like
but
I think in spot situations, like it can't. I don't think it should be the plan. Like
no,
certain
no, not the norm, but like teams that you need to go big against.
teams where or teams that are really small and you have that you even double down on the advantage. But
Yeah,
I don't know. Isaiah Stewart is a big fella, you know. If I'm
he
not,
is.
I stick Isaiah Stewart on Cat as I stick Isaiah Stewart on Rudy Gobert, Jared. I feel all right about it. There's our two big lineup right there, you know.
I don't know about the Jared Allen one or the Rudy Gobert one. I feel like Sue gets swallowed up a lot of against
Put him on
guys of that caliber.
Cat's kind of soft.
Yeah, I mean that's why I didn't say Cat. I said Gobert and I said Allen. Cat, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I'm happy to see it. I mean, I know Stu's a strong dude. He surprises me a lot with what he can do against bigger guys. But I'm not. I'm open to Jalen Duren at the 4, especially if I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, maybe we'll see Jalen Duren at the 4 in the preseason. Who knows? You know, I'm excited for preseason. A lot of interesting matchups for us. Vali, we've been cutting you out a little bit. Your thoughts on Jalen Duren at the 4, Stu guarding up? What do you think?
All for it. I don't know. I feel like I kind of touched on a few of those things, but the Stu Duren bond friendship, I'm all for their growth. I think they're both eager to learn, and so goddamn hungry to learn. And there's definitely just an incredibly competitive nature in between the two of them that's going to push them harder and harder to further develop their skills together.
Oh, for sure. I guess the next segue I got is this isn't necessarily from Media Day and it isn't necessarily from training camp. I think Gabe Ricani pointed it out in the chat. But the Pistons posted a video on social media of Isaiah Stewart ranking his teammates on how they would survive in the wild. And while that's all good and well, it's good for the fans to get in touch with them. That's one of my problems with the Pistons. They don't do stuff with that for the players. But the biggest thing I think to come out of that video is Isaiah Stewart said Ausar Thompson is a part of the dog pound. I think that's extremely encouraging to see that, like, he's only been on the team, 3 months, and he's already part of an exclusive club. But I'm excited to see Ausar Thompson. Cade saying that Asar's playmaking is underrated, and that's another huge plus. I mean, when Ausar Thompson is out there, it's another playmaker that you can have out there. And then it's not ruled out that Ausar Thompson could be the starter come opening night. We talked lineups over the last few pods. I'm not totally against it, but if Ausar Thompson is in the starting lineup, we'll start with Vali and then we'll move to Coni. Who are you kicking out of the starting lineup if Ausar Thompson is moved into it?
Am I being forced to do this?
Yes, you're being
because I wouldn't theoretically do this.
Okay.
But I guess if you're asking me to pick one guy logically from that lineup, kind of hurts to say, but I think I'd go Ivy.
It hurt me to say it too, but that's what I'm leaning towards too. Not because I don't think Ivy is a starting caliber player, but because I think Ivy off the bench is just insane. Coni, who are you booting out of that starting lineup?
I also hate to say because I love him, but I would probably boot Stu. Move
Oh,
4, put a star in at the 3. I think that'd be a really dynamic offensive team. That'd be really fun to watch. You have shooting from the outside, a lot of playmaking, and yeah.
Do you have shooting?
I think
my question.
Ivy can shoot. Bojan can shoot. Bojan better than Stu. Duren can. I mean,
But Asar's worse than Stu.
Offense. I mean, you run into the same problem if you take Ivy out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's like a catch-22, but I think it has to be Ivy. I think there was an interview yesterday, day before, where Ivy was asked if he's okay starting coming off the bench, and he's obviously gonna be Ivy and just say he's gonna do whatever the team wants. Vali said it yesterday. is there a better person in the NBA besides Jaden Ivey? I can't think of anybody. He just seems like an overall genuinely nice dude who just like is all for the team. A lot of players say it, but I feel like Ivy actually is it.
Absolutely. And he's so like what drives him like is great and it really fuels him, you know? I don't know. I mean, this isn't like mean anything, but like an incredibly religious guy, incredibly respectful guy, has nothing but respect for everybody. Congratulations to him again, you know, kid on the way, getting married at 21 years old. He just seems outside of basketball kind of just like 5 years older, you know, than he actually is. On the court can seem kind of, you know, a little like too reliant on the athleticism, you know, fly up and down and lose a little bit of track. But such a great guy, and the work ethic we've talked about so much that's continued here. I think Monty touched on that. He was kind of surprised at Ivy's work ethic, but you know, we're not surprised. We've heard all the stories. He's got the Mamba mentality gene. Great human being. I want to touch on Cade before you guys come back because I'll be damned, you know, we haven't gotten around to Cade freaking Cunningham. And what he said, he says again, such a great teammate. His quote was saying, I just want to be a leader. I just want to be the best teammate I can be. I want the team to defend at a high level. I want to defend well from the guard spot. That's your superstar player. Like that's the face of your franchise saying, I want to be the best teammate I can be. After not playing last season, he's bugging to get out there. He could say, oh, I want to average 20 plus a game. I want to win the MVP award. No. He says, I want to be the best teammate I can be, and I want to play good defense. If that's your guard, your star guard saying that, like you just got to think we're set up in a really good situation here, man.
Yeah, and combining what you were saying about Ivy and Cade, Ausar Thompson said that his leadership stands out and he seems like a 10-year vet, right? You're talking about Ivy playing outside of basketball, he's above his age. Cade, as a basketball player, is above his age. And we've heard that since the start. So it's nice to see that it's still a trait that he possesses. And I'm excited for Cade Cunningham. The revenge tour is going to be crazy. Connie, your thoughts on Cade?
A lot of good things hearing about Cade from all the people. I mean, obviously, no coach, GM is coming out on media day and be like, yeah, dude's kind of ass.
Thanks.
Yeah, he's not the guy we thought he was. Kind of boo-boo. Like, you're obviously going to hear that he's good and great. But
he just is, man.
Yeah, I just hearing around like Brian Windhorst having positive expectations on the Pistons because Cade's coming back. A lot of national media guys really in on Cade. I don't like it, you know.
I love it.
I want them to say, man, and like seems too good.
You want the Detroit versus everybody mindset.
It just seems too good to be true. I feel like the carpet's gonna get pulled out from under me and I'm gonna fall forwards or something. Like this guy's gonna start playing out there. He's the next Michael Carter Williams. Like I know he's not. He's not because we see who Cade is and we see him play basketball. But I just I'm so giddy for this season to start. I just want to see it. You know, I just want to see Cade play well. And
that's a good word for it. Giddy. I'm so giddy. I'm like, if there was a time machine and I'd only had one thing to do, I'm jumping forward to like Sunday. Like, I don't care.
No, preseason games. They have to be regular.
I got a time machine, guys. I got to jump forward 48 hours to preseason.
Yeah, that's it. I told you. Like Vali said, we're sickos, man. I just want my basketball back.
I'm going forward 2 days.
2 days. I don't care about nothing else. I don't want to see the dinosaurs. I don't care. I want to see Cade Cunningham in preseason basketball.
You don't want to go like 10 years ahead and see what this team built, man?
Nah, man. They got to save the surprise for something. Like, but yeah, I'm super excited for it. Like you said, giddy for it. This season, I mean, I just ran a 2K simulation and we made the 10th seed and we played the Knicks in the play-in. I didn't check. I was just happy to see we were in the play-in. Any other thoughts on Cade, or we can move into our next quote that caught everybody's attention?
I'm good.
Yeah, what do you got, Coni? Come on.
No, I'm good on Cade. Like we've gotten so much Cade content. There's nothing more that they can tell us at this point. You know, dominating the lines, dominating the USA Select scrimmages. It's like, what more are you gonna say? He looks good. He looks healthy.
He looks good. And Isaiah Livers said it that when he bumps you, you feel it. You feel that he's stronger. So I don't know when Cade would have been bumping Isaiah Livers considering he's been hurt. But hey, if Livers says it, then I'll believe it. And a shame to see Livers go down again. We kind of talked about it on the last pod, but 6 to 8 weeks on a team where there was clearly going to be a spot for him to take if he was healthy. But the kid just can't catch a break. Any thoughts on Livers, or we can move into a Joe Harris quote?
No thoughts on Livers.
No thoughts on. I didn't think so. But Joe Harris, yeah, right. But Joe Harris saying he doesn't really care if he plays or not. It doesn't care how long he plays, if he plays. He's just here to leave this place in a better place than he found it. And I think, I mean, it doesn't hurt that he's making like what $20 million, but it's nice to see that he's not going to be like, I hate how I'm not playing. I hate this. I hate that. It just seems like he's here to help, which is nice to see. It's nice to see that a guy like Joe Harris who's been around some really, really good players, is willing to come in and lend his wisdom to one of the youngest teams.
Yeah, he knows he's not a long-term part of this team. Likely, this looks a little bit to me like an Al Horford type deal where he's gonna come here, he's gonna look pretty good, I think, with the guys around him, and then he becomes an expiring deal, and it becomes much more handsome of a contract and of a player to a contending team. I think we could really be the Joe Harris rehabilitators, who was really at his like lowest value this past summer, I feel like. So we got him for the cheap. But I think the plan is to turn him into something else.
Which is crazy to say that his value was low, because of players, StatMuse put this out on Twitter, of players with 1,000 3-point attempts, Harris is at the top. He's above guys like Steve Nash and Steph Curry on shooting percentage on 3-pointers if you've shot over 1,000, which is crazy. Like, and your value was low, and you basically stole him from the Nets. I'm happy to have another shooter on this team. Honestly, Vali and I were talking about it yesterday. It's just nice to have shooters that can knock down shots. What else you guys got from media day and training camp?
Weaver wants to play 82 meaningful games. He said that a couple times in his press conference. He was pretty upset that the last 20-something games of the season for us were not meaningful games, and he hit that a couple times. That he wants these games to matter, which to me seems like he thinks this is a play-in push at least.
Yeah. I love how somebody asked him, like, do you think this team can make the play? And he's like, what do you want me to say? No.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. But I mean, when he said that quote, there's a lot of confusion on Twitter, and I'm like, it's not really that hard to figure out. 82 meaningful games means you're competing for 82 games. You're not like we were last year, like bottom of the league, like have no shot making even the play-in or even scratching that. I'm excited that he has optimism. Like he said, he came in and we had expiring stars on towards the end of their prime. And he's turned this around to one of the most promising youth teams in the league. So it does hinge on Cade Cunningham, who we called our linchpin. So it's all on Cade's back, but there's a lot of talent on this team. So 82 meaningful games, I'm all for it. Vali is not only talking about 82 meaningful games, he thinks we're going to win over 50 of those 82 meaningful games. Vali, come on, give us some optimism here.
Do you want me to what? You want me to sell my case?
Yeah, sell your case, man.
Dude, I mean, all right, we're gonna cycle right back to Cade freaking Cunningham then, dude. Like he's just the key to it all. He's an elite NBA player, and the world's gonna see it. Do you want me? I don't know. Do you want me to go to a different approach?
But is Cade Cunningham a guy that adds 35, 40 wins? Yes. Like what else is on this? He's a guy that adds 35 to 40
Maybe
wins.
Not directly. I think he adds double-digit wins.
Okay,
and
so where's
he orchestrates things to other teammates.
That you think like the other improvement that's bringing us?
Okay, I'll go with head coach Monty Williams. I think it's just a serious upgrade. I mean, his teams have statistically been top 10 in offense, like every team has been on. When Chris Paul was younger in New Orleans, like, dude, what a team. You go to Phoenix, what a team. Who's the point guard of it? Chris Paul. How many times have we thrown around the Cade Chris Paul comparisons? Like, I just think he's so gonna get the absolute most out of him, and the team is just set up in such a way to benefit Cade Cunningham. And it just, I'm sorry, I wish we could go at a different angle of this, but it's Cade Cunningham what makes us take that leap. Multitude of factors coming in from the other sides, his teammates, the growth from all these players, how deep we are as a team now. Like it's such an underrated aspect. I don't know. I feel like I've said all of these things multiple times.
Yeah, makes sense. Any other quotes or clips that caught you guys' eye over the past 4 or 5 days?
Something caught my eye so hard today, guys. It just popped in my head talking about Kate again. Like I said, my friend from Japan is visiting. I haven't seen him since 8th grade. That's when he moved away from the US. Guess the jersey he has that he whipped out and showed me today. Cade freaking Cunningham, number 2 Detroit Pistons. Just like what? Just respect, you know?
Hey Vali, do you have that shirt that kind of rivals the awesomeness of the Cade Cunningham jersey? Show the viewers what we're looking at here.
Turn your lights on, man. This guy's in the purple room.
I hope this works.
Is that Buffs on merchandise? Is that the Office font?
Yes, sir. Check the back.
Back out.
Can't tell if it's on its background or on a shirt, man.
Oh man, they like
Looks
that.
great. Looks great, man. I love it. I love it. I know Vali is going to be at the preseason game on Sunday, and he will probably be repping. If you guys are going to be at the Pistons game, make sure you DM us. We'd love to hear from you. Vali's going to go ask some guys, some fans, because we want to hear from us. We're the fans. You guys are the fans. We want to hear from us about how you're feeling about the Pistons season. So interact with us.
Vali's doing man on the street interviews.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's going to be legendary. Yes, we gotta get a mini mic. Yeah, we gotta get a mini mic. It'll be fun. Monty, actually, why haven't we talked about this? Monty's first game coaching the Pistons is against the Suns. Why haven't we talked about that?
No, really, it didn't click.
It just didn't. It just like, I mean, like you think. I know it's preseason, but like, you think Monty
preseason game.
I mean, you think Monty still doesn't want to go out there and win that game? I don't know. It'll be a fun matchup for sure. Devin Booker coming home, Monty facing his old team. Okay? Let's do it this way. Who starts the preseason game? Who are the 5 starters?
I think Bogey starts and plays like 10 minutes.
That's fair.
And then the other usuals, I think Cade, Ivy, Bogey, Stu, Duren.
How many minutes does Cade get? I think he's going to be on like a 20-minute.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's playing more than 20, 25 minutes. This shouldn't.
Yeah, but us sickos are still going to be watching when it's like Sasser, Boheim, Tosan, Ausar, and like Bagley out there. It's going to be great.
Calzon and
the Calzone.
Tweeted a picture. The Pistons, the G League Drive tweeted a picture of those 2 guys, and they have the same haircut, they have the same build, they have the same facial hair, they have the same these dudes. I actually had to swipe back and forth. Like, are these the same guy? Am I tripping? And they're like, no, one guy has tattoos, one guy doesn't. Malcolm Casalon and Jared Roden, man, twins. Maybe they can power up together.
So what you're saying is Troy Weaver has the type.
Troy Weaver has the type.
Yeah. But I'm excited for preseason. Feels like forever since we've seen Pistons basketball, even though it's just summer league. But any other thoughts on training camp, media day? Before
one more thing. Just that Monty was talking a lot about it's a competition, man. Like, this was a 17-win team last season, so there's free competition for the spots to play. It's like nothing is earned. Like, you didn't earn anything from the way you played last year. You're gonna earn your spot on this team and your minutes by the way that you play now. Like, just because you are a top team and this is top pick and this is a bad team, you're not getting spoon fed. You gotta work. That's not like
Yeah. It just popped into my head, so I wanted to say I was listening to the Boyan's press conference interview because we're not getting those until like days after they happen. So Pistons, you got to do better on that end for us fans. But he said that this was his first offseason where he really did nothing. He didn't compete for his country or anything. He said it was a relaxing offseason to spend time with family and friends. I don't know how I feel about that for a 34-year-old coming into his season. I don't know if that means he's going to lose a step, but I trust in Bogey and his work ethic. Just wanted to know if you guys had any thoughts on that.
it'd be good for him.
It might be. Yeah, 34, needs some rest. Don't mind it. But yeah, 17-win season last season. We still ranked 12th in attendance, so it'll be fun to see with the in-season tourney, with Cade coming back, how high we jump on the attendance ratings this year. So Pistons basketball is back. That's all I can say, and I'm happy to say it. Lastly, one more time, any other media day training camp thoughts? All right, well, thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Buffs On Podcast. Like I said, someone's got a time machine they can lend me so I can fast forward 48 hours. Hit me up. I'm all for it. But until after the first Pistons preseason game and Vali comes and talks to you guys on the streets, throw the Buffs on Detroit because I'm as high as that, the future is bright.